यस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहं। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Okay, welcome back, and we will continue from where we left off. And we will begin with chapter 76. After Bharata spoke to Kausalya Devi, and everyone was in this morose sort of situation. And Bharata was on the floor. We read last time, that he was on the floor breathing or sighing heavily, and the whole night just went away in a very intensely intensely grieving way. Next morning, this is where chapter 76 begins. Next morning, Vasishta Muni walked up to Bharata Maharaj and informed him that Bharata, now that you're here, you have some very important task to complete, and that is the last rites for your father's body. The body has been preserved in oil. Other sons are not here. You are the one who needs to take care of this. This is very, very important. So Dasarath Maharaj's body was removed from the oil and placed on a very, very opulent couch. After all, he is the emperor. And that entire thing was then mounted on a palanquin and was carried by these, what they in English we call pallbearers, 4 people. And I'm sure in his case, there were more than 4. They carried that palanquin on foot towards the crematorium. Along the way, as they were going from the palace to the crematorium, the residents of Ayodhya ran out to see the king's body and offered coins of gold, some with silver, some offered fragrant and very expensive wood like sandalwood and aguru and different kinds of woods for the funeral pyre. Then the queens, the 3 principal and the other 360 some queens, they ascended their own palanquins and they came towards the crematorium. And when Dasarath Maharaj's body was placed on the pyre, ready for being cremated, the queens circumambulated the pyre in anti-clockwise direction. So we have pradakshina, that is clockwise direction, with the deity or the personality to our right. And at the point of death, because it is not the same as worship, one is moving anti-clockwise. So one should move anti-clockwise. So then all the brahmanas, they offered mantras and the pyre was lit, and Bharata had lit the pyre, and all the Brahmanas were offering oblations into the fire, saying Swaha, Swaha, and Dasarath Maharaja's body began to light up. And as soon as they saw the king's body, after 60,000 years of rule, being cremated, naturally they burst into very, very intense crying. Everybody there was crying. So the next 12 days were spent in mourning. So technically for Kshatriyas, the period of mourning is only 10 days. So Bharata was mourning, 10 days were over, 11th day was done. And then on the 12th day, he was waiting for the 12th day to arrive. And he was making preparations for the final, it's called Avabhritya, the final bathing ceremony, such that the 12 days of what is called Ashaucha, impure period. When there is death in the family, the first 12 days generally are considered Ashaucha period. For Kshatriyas, it's 10, for Brahmins, it is 12. And I think, I don't know about others, but that the period increases. But anyway, on the 13th day is when you can go back to doing your regular activities. So on the 13th day, it is said that he went to collect ashes of Dasharath Maharaja. Now, you don't have to wait till 13 days. Actually, it is done before the 10th day also. So the commentators of Ramayana say that Bharata actually went within the 10 days to collect a little pot of ashes. Technically, they're called astika. Astika means bones. So when a body is cremated, not everything turns into ash. Some bones are left behind. Different sizes of bones are also left with the ash. And collecting those bones along with the ash is called astika. And then on the 13th day, he went back and collected everything else that was remaining. In English, we call the remains. But he collected all those ashes. And as he was collecting Dasharath Maharaj's ash, he broke down crying. And it was a very, very intense moment for him because he had very fond memories of his father. And naturally, wherever there is intense affection, that is where there is, to the same intensity or perhaps more, pain of separation. In this world, so many people are dying every day, but we don't feel any emotions necessarily because we don't have a sense of relationship with random people. But when we know someone who's very close to us, or we have very intense affection for them, and that bond breaks, that's when the grieving is also intense. And Shatrughna, who was also along with Bharata, was always there. So something in Ramayana, whenever Bharata is mentioned, we should know that Shatrughna is also there. When you speak of a person, you don't say the person was standing there and his shadow was also with him. You never refer to the shadow, but you know that the shadow is always there. Similarly, wherever Bharata is referred to, Shatrughna is always there. So Shatrughna, who was remembering his father as a very loving and caring man, who spared no expenses in literally pampering his four boys with food, varieties and fancy types of royal foods, clothing, jewelry, and in different affectionate means. Every day he would embrace them and kiss their foreheads, and very expressively show his affection to the boys. In fact, in one of the commentaries, it is said that Dasharath Maharaj knew that Ramachandra is a completely sold out person to his father's orders. So whatever his father would say, Ramachandra would do. So the whole day, Dasarath Maharaj, while he was sitting in court, would call Ramachandra to come. He say, Rama, come here. And Ramachandra would come to his father, offer his respects, and say, yes, father, what can I do for you? Then for some excuse or the other, he would call Ramachandra. And then he would say, okay, now you go away. So Ramachandra would turn and walk away. Sometime later, again, within a few minutes, he would say, Rama, come here. Then Ramachandra would come again. Then he would say something, talk something. Okay, now you go away. And Ramachandra would turn and go. So the whole day he spent in telling Ramachandra, come here and go away, come here and go away. And the idea is Ramachandra not even once said to his father, come on, tell me why you are calling me. He just, whatever his father called, he went. So it's described that whenever you say Ramachandra come, and as Ramachandra would approach him, Dasaratha would gaze at the beauty of Ramachandra. And it was not enough for him how exquisitely attractive Lord Ramachandra was. Every feature, every little body part was just too perfect. Some people have good looking features, but not a good body structure. Some have good body structure, but they're either too thin or too fat. Some people have, if everything that's okay, their eyes are out of shape. If their eyes are okay, the eyebrows are out of shape. The hair is not okay. The ears not okay. The nose is not okay. The forehead may not be. Whole bunch of imperfections in a conditioned personality. But Ramachandra, this is Hanuman's description, was so perfect in every body limb, the hair, the eyes, the forehead, the nose, the cheeks, the cheekbones, the ears, everything was so exquisitely beautiful. He would gaze at Ramachandra coming, and then he would say, okay, now you go away. So when Ramachandra was appearing towards him, he would completely scan Ramachandra's beauty. And then he would ask Ramachandra to go away, and as he would turn, then he would scan the entire beauty of Ramachandra's back, his way of walking, and his shoulders, and just completely absorbed in the beauty. We call that Rupa and Guna Seva. When we stand in front of the deities for deity darshan, we sing this song, Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Lakshavriteshu Surabhirabhipalayantam. And then Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalayataksam Barhavatam Asitam Buddha Sundarangam. Asitam Ambuddha Sundarangam. Asita is a very beautiful smile. Asita is also very dark black. Sorry, not smile, black. And Ambuddha is cloud. So Krishna's color or hue is that of a blackish rain cloud, fresh rain cloud. So etc. So this is called Rupa Darshan or Rupa Seva. And so Dasharath Maharaj from morning till night would be completely absorbed in the beauty of his son Ramachandra and his brothers. So Shatrughna and Bharata are very deeply remembering their father's affection towards them. Then while they were like in this very morose condition, Vasishta approaches them and reminds both of them, Bharata and Shatrughna, come on, gather yourselves. Actually, you have a job at hand. You have some responsibilities to fulfill for Ayodhya. So finish gathering the ashes, and then let's talk further. And as far as you feeling what you're feeling is genuine, it is true, but you need to now think like Rajarshis. You need to learn to take on your responsibilities and not become taken away or washed away by the sense of grief. So he says, त्रीणि द्वन्द्वानि भूतेषु प्रवृत्तानि अविशेषतः तेषु च अपरिहार्येषु अपरिहार्येषु न एवं भवितुमर्हसि. In one sense, it's very much like Krishna speaking to Arjuna that there is no need to lament, or try to get out of this lamenting mode, Vasishta says, Trini Dvandvani. Trini is three, Dvandva means pairs. So there are three pairs of Avisheshataha Bhuteshu. That living entities are constantly harassed by three pairs of distresses. And the three pairs of distresses, or Dvandva means opposites, and or dualities as we know in Prabhupada's language. And those are, there is always hunger and thirst together. There is joy and sorrow together. And there is birth and death together. So these three couples, if you will, or these three couplets or dualities constantly bother all living beings. And those three don't make distinction that for kings, they don't appear. For Shudras, they will appear. For higher grades of men or women, that they will be relieved of it. Nothing like that. All living entities, in fact, not just human beings, all living entities are tormented by these three sets of dualities. And he's saying they being inevitable. Teshu cha apariharyeshu. Apariharyeshu means there is no solution to them. Na evam bhavitum arhasi. So since there is no solution, they will anyway come by. Don't become so lamentable. Don't lament so much, because these are realities of life. You cannot avoid them. Then all the ministers, they gathered around the two brothers to finish the rest of the ceremonies for the 13th day. Everything was done. And that's the end of chapter 77. Then when chapter 78 begins, Shatrughna starts wondering, why is it that Ramachandra had to be banished at the behest of a woman, Kaikeyi? Because it doesn't make any sense. Just because Kaikeyi asked or demanded, should Ramachandra really have been sent away to the forest? Is it fair? Is it even correct, dharmically? And then he wondered, my twin brother Lakshmana, such a great warrior, why did he not stop it? Why did he not intervene and say, this is not okay? He could have stopped it, but he didn't. Then he says, why didn't Lakshmana deliberate between what is right and what is wrong, and then make a strong case against the king's decision to banish Ramachandra? He was right there with Ramachandra, and that is what he should be doing. Did he not do so? So like this, when Shatrughna was speaking to Bharata, Manthara, who was all this while inside her quarters, came out of the eastern gate, and she was decorated with all sorts of jewels, nice necklaces, garlands, and necklaces in the form of garlands, so big, long and full of jewel-studded ornaments. However, Valmiki Rishi says that on Manthara, even though she wore all these jewels, she didn't look beautiful. This is what he said she looks like. I'll read you the Sanskrit, then I'll tell you the English. He says, Mekhaladama Bhish Charitra Yascha Subhushanaihi. Mekhaladam Abhish Chitrai Anyaischa Subhushanaihi Babhase Bahubhirvadha Rajjubadheva Vanari. So first is Mekhala. Mekhala means a golden ornament that is worn like a belt. Many women wear it, men wear it. When you see the description of the Supreme Lord, it says Mekhala. Mekhala is the golden belt that is worn around the waist. So Valmiki says, Mekhala Damabhi. She wore it like a robe. Chitrair Anyeshcha Subhushanai. Chitrair is very beautiful. Anyeshcha and other very beautiful ornaments. Subhushanai. She was decorated very nicely. Babhase. She was glowing. Bahubir Baddha. Rajju Baddheva Vanari. She was glowing with ornaments tied around her in different ways, but actually she looked like a monkey that was tied with a rope. Rajju Baddheva Vanari. So the picture you get is if you put a lot of jewels on a monkey, it looks funny. It looks awkward. So although she was decorated, Valmiki says she looked like a monkey that was tied with ropes. Then, as she was coming out of the eastern gate, the guard there caught hold of Manthara and brought her forcibly towards Kshatrugna and said, Here is the cruel lady who is responsible for all of this to happen. And Kshatrugna, his eyes became big and bloodshot red with anger. He caught hold of Manthara and dragged her along the ground towards Kaikeyi. Okay, and looking at Shatrughna's anger, all of Manthara's associates, servants of the servants, if you will, they ran away scared and hid behind Kausalya Devi. And it seemed like Shatrughna was very sure that he was going to kill Manthara right away. So Shatrughna, with his bloodshot eyes, fiery mentality, started rebuking Manthara very sharp, with very sharp words and in a very angry tone. So Kaikeyi, Kshatrugna also started rebuking Kaikeyi with equally sharp and angry words. So Kaikeyi got really scared of Shatrughna. So she quickly went and took shelter of Bharata because she was very scared. Then Bharata walked up to Shatrughna and said, Tam preksha Bharataha kruddhama Shatrughna idam abravit. Tam preksha, looking at Kaikeyi, Bharata kruddham Shatrughna, angry Shatrughna. Idam abravit, spoke like this to angry Shatrughna. He said, Avadhyah sarva bhutanam pramadaha kshamayatami. So he says, sarva bhutanam, among all living beings, pramadaha, women, avadhyaha, kshantumiti, they must never be killed. Women should never be killed. Hence, please pardon her. Kshamyatam iti, just forgive her. And he says, Hanyam aham imam papam Kaikeyim dushtacharinim. Yadimam dharmiko ramaha na asuyena matra ghatakam. Very heavy words. He says, Hanyam aham imam papam Kaikeyim dushtacharinim. This Kaikeyi is his own mother. He says, Dushtacharini. She's very wicked and evil-minded. And he says, Yadimam matrughatakam. If I killed my mother, actually I'm willing to do it. I would have killed my mother just for the horrific act that she has done. Yet, dharmiko ramaha na asuyenaha. But this Ramachandra, who's free of any kind of envy, he would express his displeasure towards me. And that is what is stopping me. This is a very beautiful lesson that we may feel, and perhaps justifiably in some cases, some anger or hurt towards someone else who has done something to us, or we perceive them doing something towards us and they were the instrument of it. It definitely feels great to see them either punished or see them apologizing or see them feel the burden of regret on their shoulders. While all of that is definitely from a conditioned perspective sounds and feels very pleasing, Bharata is saying that I don't act on it because it is not pleasing to Ramachandra. Prabhupada describes the nature of love is if the object of our love likes something that we don't like, then we tend to learn to like that. And if we don't like something that he likes, then we learn to like that or not like. So, of course, Bharata is way up there, and we often say Bharata is way up there and shy away. One might shy away. But here's a way of describing how to live. That will Ramachandra be happy by my punishing Kaikeyi or by my punishing Manthara? Will they be happy? Will Ramachandra be happy? No, because that's not Ramachandra's heart. He doesn't want to see that. So I cannot do it. And then he says, Imam api hatam kubjam yadi janati raghavaha tvam chamam chaiva dharmatma na abhibhashishyate dhruvam. He says, Imam api hatam. Imam means this lady here. Api hatam. If we kill her, hatam, kubjam, yadi janati raghava. If Ramachandra comes to know, he says, Tvam chamam chaiva, you and me, towards you and towards me, Dharmatma, Lord Ramachandra who's Dharmatma, na abhibhashyate dhruvam. Certainly, dhruvam, na abhibhashyate. He will never speak to us. For the rest of our lives, Ramachandra will not speak to us because he will be displeased. So as soon as Shatrughna heard this, he let Mantra go. And Mantra ran and fell at Kaikeyi's feet. And Kaikeyi began consoling Manthara. That it's okay now. There's no danger for you right now. So next day, on the 14th day after Dasarath Maharaj's death, all the ministers of Ayodhya, they approached Bharata and said, Bharata, please begin preparation for coronation. You're the prince, the regent, and now you will become the king. So far, the kingdom has been doing all right in the absence of a king. Then Dasharatha is dead and a new king has not been appointed yet. So kingdom is doing okay for the past 14 days. But that should not how the kingdom should be. So you should be crowned the king. So Bharata looked at all the paraphernalia that was gathered for him to be crowned as the king. He folded his hands and circumambulated all these auspicious paraphernalia and said to the ministers, actually, according to the rules of Dharma, the oldest son, the eldermost, must be coronated as the king. And so I'm not that, it is Ramachandra. And rightfully, the kingdom belongs to Sri Ramachandra. So he said, all right, everyone, collect this entire paraphernalia that was there for Abhishek. Now, some of us have done Abhishek at the temple. Previously, we used to do even more elaborately with some 20 kalashas with all sorts of threads tied to it, 16 varieties of lamps, fragrant oil, sandalwood, waters, technically from all rivers, but we would have coconut water, fruit juices of varieties of colors. All of that, Bharata said, gather all of them. And guess what? We're all going to the forest to see Ramachandra, and I'm going to convince him to come back. And I'm going to go with the 4 divisions of armies. So the elephants, horses, infantry, and cavalry, chariots. 4 of them, because those who sit on horses are called cavalry, those foot soldiers are called infantry, elephants, and chariots. He said we should go with the divisions of army because Ramachandra is a king. And he cannot come back from Chitrakoot just walking bare feet or walking on foot. He needs to come back like a king. And a king is identified by the 4 divisions of his army. So I'm going to go personally with all my armies and all this paraphernalia, convince Ramachandra, give him the Abhishek for being the king, and bring him back to Ayodhya. And he called all his civil engineers, construction workers, and all these very skillful persons in his kingdom and told them, from Ayodhya to Chitrakoot, please make excellent roads such that the entire army, elephants, horses, chariots can travel without any obstruction. Quickly go and begin preparation. I'm going to bring Ramachandra back. All the ministers became very happy to see Bharata's love for Ramachandra. And they told him, actually, we bless you that goddess Lakshmi, the Lakshmi Devi, will personally oversee the work you are doing to bring Ramachandra back. So before the king goes, or Bharata, who's the prince, before he goes, all the engineers went and they started clearing the thicket of forests, making wide roads so that the king's chariot, other chariots, the elephants, and everyone can go towards Chitrakoot. And all the work for building the roads and building places, we call it rest stops, they will begin construction. And that is how chapter 79 ends. So we're going to pause here and see if there are any questions or comments on these chapters that we talked about. Anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I joined a little late, so I didn't get the whole thing. But from what I understand, Bharata performed the last rites of Dashrath Maharaj. Is that true?
Correct.
But then way back in the story, we heard that Dashrath Maharaj, while leaving his body, said that Bharata cannot perform my last rites.
Correct.
Then how to reconcile?
That was correct. But you cannot leave the king's body like that. Vasishta specifically, who's the Acharya or the priest for the entire Raghu dynasty, for the king's benefit, made him do it.
Oh, but then is it not like going against the wish of Dashrath Maharaj?
No, because if last rites were not performed, Dasarath Maharaj would be stuck in a hellish condition. I mean, technically, he's a pure devotee, but from a worldly perspective, Putra means the one who, by performing the final rites, releases the ancestors, the father, and the ancestors from the hellish condition called Pun. Pun nama narakatrayate iti putraha. So he has to perform it. And his sense of saying that Bharata cannot do is from a state of anger and his distress with Kaikeyi. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. One question.
Are you satisfied?
Well, for me, it's like it is. On the other hand, it is also said the person who's leaving the body, his last wish should be fulfilled. So to me, it looks like that was not done.
Okay. Okay. Paramatma?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
So I was trying to understand, Prabhu, three triplets you said, right? Hunger and thirst, happy and distress, Janma and Mrityu. So this is applicable to all the living entities. So
Correct.
I was trying to wonder in the heavenly planetary system, the Devi Devatas, and furthermore, I know happy and distress we can easily understand. Janma Mrityu, yes. But hunger and thirst, is it something which is really troubling anybody in those planetary
So
systems?
when they say all living entities, you're not considering heavenly persons necessarily.
Okay. Sure.
Now they're constantly eating and drinking and enjoying like anything. Okay, but their sense of hunger and thirst is not like how we have pangs of hunger and thirst. Not necessarily like that. So when we say all living beings, technically it means within the earthly realm.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Dasharatha ruled for 60,000 years, and only the last 14 years he was able to live with his son or sons. And for his entire life, or for a good portion of his life, he wanted to have sons. And it was only for 14 years, and then he passed away, or not 14, I think it was 21 years, sorry, 21 years. And then
I'm sorry, Dasarat Maharaj ruled for 60,000. Say it
and
again.
and he was with his sons for 21 years, right?
Okay.
And I mean, his entire life he wanted to have a child, and he finally had four sons. Of course, the Supreme Lord himself came, and he could spend only 21 years with them out of the 60,000. It's a small fraction, so to say. Just that it was interesting that something that was so deep, and of course, he's eternally connected to Lord Rama, but in this pastime, he could spend only such a small amount of time. That was what a thought came.
Yeah.
Thoughts from your end?
That's it. Nothing in Chitraketu's story also. He has 10 million wives, not a child. And once he has the child, in a few years or less, or in very short amount of time, the child is there's a conspiracy, and the child is poisoned by the other queens. So his name was Harsha Shoka. He will bring Harsha and Shoka together. Similarly, for Dasharath Maharaj, the attachment towards his sons was so intense that he had to be chastised by Vishwamitra. You're working on something. So in that context, Vishwamitra had to tell him, all right, sit at home, happy with your sons, and don't do anything for anyone. That's how he got chastised by Vishwamitra, because he said, oh, I cannot give my son away. So from both angles, from a worldly angle and from a spiritual angle, it makes sense. From a spiritual angle, his attachment to the Lord was very intense. From a material angle, the attachment was so intense that he could not uh, bear the pain of not being away from Ramachandra even for a short while. So he forgot what else he could do for his citizens. One of the reasons Dasharath Maharaj is faulted, if you will, that inside Ayodhya, everything was fantastic. Little outside the city limits, where Malada and Karusha areas are there, and Tataka had taken prominence there with Maricha and Subahu, is because Dasarath Maharaj never really cared beyond that point to go and handle all those situations. He just sort of left it. And that's how Tataka took that whole area away. Otherwise, he should have sent certain persons into Dandaka forest and gotten rid of Tataka. But he didn't. Anyway, so that's a different topic. But yes, short period, but very painful for him to think of not separating from Ramachandra.
Just a follow-up question to this very interesting point you said that he didn't go beyond Ayodhya. Many times we find that there are situations where people don't find the strength to stand up for themselves or for principles.
Right.
What to do in such a case? How to muster the courage? Especially one feels like if I stand up to it, I may lose something else that's there. How do, is there something that we can, either we can tell others, or when we come in the same situation, we can remind ourselves to come out of such a situation?
About 16 or 17 years ago, somewhere, I had a similar situation where I did not stand up, or I was afraid to stand up for a particular principle because I was worried what will that person think about me, or my friendship with that person will get spoiled if I say something. And I approached our spiritual master with it, and I got put in my place quickly. And I was told, when you consider like that, what will happen to my friendship? What will they think of me? I don't want to spoil something like that. He said, it is Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, verse 27. Ahankara vimudhatma karta ahamiti manyate. It's a doership mentality. And a doership mentality person, or a person who thinks I'm the doer, has all these considerations. If there is not that you have to say it in the most earth-shattering way or be rude or nothing necessarily like that. But if you find something that is a violation of a Vaishnava principle, then you should express it. Not doing so, silence is complicity.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Before we continue, Stira, for you, Hariharan quoted a verse from the 42nd chapter, where Dasarath Maharaj is saying, if Bharata feels cheerful for having got this kingdom which is imperishable, let the merits of the rites performed to me after my death not reach me. So he didn't say don't do it. He just said it won't reach me.
So it's more towards the consciousness that he's referring, that if he feels cheerful in receiving the kingdom, then the rites that he performs will not reach me.
Correct.
Okay.
You got it. Oh, thanks to Hariharan Prabhu for bringing out that verse. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Atulya.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Atulya.
So, Prabhu, you were mentioning how Lord Ramachandra, how Bharata did not punish Kaikeyi, thinking that what Lord Rama would think. And usually we hold vengeance against another person and look out for apology and other things.
Mm-hmm.
So even those who are like brothers of Lord Rama or people around him, even like say Lakshmana, at times were not able to hold up to that principle. They were like, they felt angry, they felt hurt, and they wanted to take revenge. So what are the lessons for us? Like,
Yeah, finish your question. Sorry, your voice just went away. Atulya?
Hare
Haribol?
Krishna.
Yeah. Yes, I heard you up to the point of what is the lesson, and then it went away.
Okay, so I'm saying, what is the lesson for me? What can I learn from it when I am not at that level of always thinking or even knowing what, say, Lord Rama or Lord Krishna would like me to act in this way? Because there another aspect of it is that there are times when Lord Rama punished. So it's
Absolutely.
very unclear to me what would Lord Rama do at that point, or what would be my action as instrument. Instrument is also a big word, but what am I supposed to do in connection with the Lord?
It depends. Excellent question. It depends whether one is the, I'm going to use the word victim in this case, not from a victim mentality, but a victim versus a bystander that is observing the victimization. So take Ramachandra's case. When Ramachandra was told, go to the forest, he didn't protest at all. He said, happily, I'll do it. That was his, I want to say his Krishna consciousness, but you get the idea. That as the person following dharma did not hold Kaikeyi, the instrument, faulty or responsible. Correct? And that same principle shows up in Bhagavatam also. When Dharma the bull was asked by Parikshit Maharaj, who did this? Dharma said, I cannot say. It's very difficult for me to say. This is Dharma speaking. Same way, the Avanti Brahmana, who was being completely insulted. They were urinating in his begging bowl. They were passing gas on his face. They were throwing stones at him. They were heckling him. And he said, oh, I cannot hold them responsible, etc. Right next to Ramachandra is Lakshmana, who is hissing like a serpent. He is the serpent, right? Lord Anantasesha.
Yeah.
He was hissing angrily and was ready to finish off entire Ayodhya single-handedly. He said, I will take Ayodhya and turn it into ashes. I will sink it in the Sarayu, whatever it is I can do. He didn't say, yeah, this is the time to be forgiving, and I should not be speaking because after all I'm a Vaishnava. I should not do. His anger is that when he sees a great personality, not great person, someone else being, in this case, Ramachandra is the greatest of personality. But the point is, you don't, as a bystander, you should not just stand and look or witness injustice happening and do nothing about it. Now, is Bharata angry at Manthara? Absolutely. Is Bharata angry at Kaikeyi, his own mother? Yeah, he says Kaikeyi Dushtacharini. Yet, he's angry. He wants to take action too. But what stops him is that Ramachandra will not like it. And last week, when we were talking to Shuchi, the example was when Lord Nityananda was hit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who had no weapons, right? Never, as the Supreme Lord, who always is with his weapons, Asta Shastrani, we say that his weapons were all his mridangas and kartals, those were the weapons in the holy name. Even that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry and said, Chakra, Chakra. The point is, Vaishnava Aparad or when another Vaishnava or Vaishnavi is being harmed, we should not be innocent bystanders and say, I don't know, if I say something, Krishna will not be pleased. That's not true. Bharata said what he did not want is Kaikeyi or Manthra being killed.
Hmm.
He didn't say don't chastise her. He just said don't kill her. If Ramachandra comes to know that that's how we have acted, he will not talk to us. So they condemned the person, the event, but not to the point of killing them. The Kshatriyas, very quickly they will dispatch with people.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So some cases Ramachandra did and some cases Ramachandra did not. Whenever it was something towards him, he just bore it, tolerated it. But any of his devotees were harmed, then he wouldn't keep quiet. When Sita was abducted, he didn't say, what to do. Such is fate. He went and protected Sita. They went and brought her back. Interestingly, when he brought her back, he told her, you're free to go wherever you want. You can marry Bharata if you like. You can marry Lakshmana if you like. Marry someone else. You're free to go if you want to go. He killed Vali. So he took steps. But when things were done, when Sugriva forgot after Chaturmas enjoyment, he not something. Ramachandra did not get angry. He said, Sugriva hasn't remembered his side of his promise. And if I don't remind him, then he will violate the bond of friendship. So Lakshmana, let him know that if he doesn't want to go in the direction that Vali went, maybe he should do something. That is all he told him. Lakshmana went with such anger that whole of Kishkinda was shaking by Lakshmana's walking, and everyone got scared and ran away because Lakshmana's eyes were red. He was walking with his chest like this, thump, 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 eyes bloodshot red.
Thank you, Prabhu. I'll sit with the answer and we'll follow up another time.
Sure.
I have a question.
Okay.
My question is that when you make mistakes, are your parents supposed to get angry?
When you make mistakes, are your parents supposed to get angry? Depends on the kind of mistake. Anger, maybe not. Should they do something to correct? Absolutely. How they do it?
What if it's like a silly mistake in math or something, and your dad gets so angry?
Dads and math homeworks. There are times when some dads express their frustration or anger at the silliness. I could not learn math from my father because, boy, I would get chastised for like the silliest of mistakes. How can you be so stupid? How can you borrow so?
That's exactly like my dad.
We need another math teacher for her.
Yeah. Okay, any other question?
Krishna Prabhu, I have one question. So we also hear Kaikeyi said what she said because supers were inspired from inside her for all the past time. So if that is case, why do we blame Kaikeyi?
Who's we? We don't blame Kaikeyi.
Like Valmiki Muni say, okay, Kaikeyi did this, Mandra did this. But if one can think in the direction of like, okay, all this happened because of the past and Lord.
So then why even say Dalita Hiranyakashipu? Why don't we run and embrace Hiranyakashipu? After all, he was also the instrument. He was Jai and Vijay. And so he threw Prahlad Maharaj into a pit of fire, had elephants trample him. After all, he was just being an instrument of. For that matter, if anyone commits Vaishnava aparad, we just say, oh, they're just the instruments of Krishna. Why are we being such a, why should we even bother all these things? What is your answer, Narahari?
I don't know.
When we are in the center of the context, when we are the center of the context, we look at someone else doing something to us, we can consider that they're just being an instrument in Krishna's hands. Others around us, now when we are a spectator or a witness, we don't necessarily think like that. We're not supposed to think like that. It is our duty. If that person on their own says, oh, no, that's just my instrument of karma or my instrument of my purification, so be it. They may think like that. Depends on where, what role you're playing in that dynamic, Narahari. If you're the victim, by all means, you can think that, oh, the other person just an instrument. Now, not everyone sees that way. Not everyone is meant to see that way. Lakshmana, who's the role of, whose bhakti, the personification of bhakti, or even a guru, is very upset. Bharata is very upset. Shatrugna is very upset. And rightfully so. Because you should be intolerant towards offenses to the Supreme Lord, saintly persons, and devotees. What do you think, Murari?
The thing I could not understand is, so this has to be happen for the pastime to happen. So unless Kaikei did that one, so the pastime cannot happen. So that's what. So if
But Bharata and Shatrugna and Lakshmana sitting there are not thinking the pastime has to happen. They're not sitting there thinking pastime has to happen. The situation is happening in their house. We as outsiders with Acharya's help say the pastime has to happen. So it's all right that Prahlad Maharaj got tortured by his father because the pastime had to happen? No, it's not okay. If it's all pastime that needs to happen, then Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita have absolutely no meaning for us. We become so separated from the text that, oh, it's just a pastime that is happening.
thank you, Prabhu.
You're welcome.
Prabhu, another. Does the scripture say about the destination of mantra? Like, well, she wasn't killed, and even till the end, she never regretted deeply that she made a mistake. Kaikai did, but Mantra did not, actually. That's what my understanding is. So I was wondering, is there any description of what happens to her after she dies? Like what kind
She
of...
becomes Kubja in Mathura. Oh, that is Shurpanaka, sorry. No, there is no description, although Ramachandra was very loving with her. In one of the versions of Ramayana, not the Valmiki Ramayana, in one of the versions of Ramayana, when Ramachandra returns from the forest, he doesn't go to Kausalya's home. He goes to Kaikeyi's home. And in Kaikeyi's home, he first meets Manthara, who for 14 years did not come out of her room or quarters and mingle with people out of fear. So she, being in her room for 14 years, Ramachandra accepts that as very special austerity that she has performed. And she is eagerly waiting for Ramachandra to return. So Ramachandra tells her, oh, Manthara, almost like a mother she is. So Manthara Devi, you have been eagerly waiting for me to return for 14 years. You have also performed tapasya. So I am back and I'm happy to return. So when he holds no grudge against her, then everyone in Ayodhya also accepts Manthara back. Other than that, I don't know.
There was one description, maybe I heard either from you or from Maharaj, that everybody was sad, but Mantra was happy at the time, I think, when Lord Ramachandra left.
Yeah, there's a verse. There's a verse that Kaikeyi, that was about Kaikeyi, that everybody was crying except one person, Kaikeyi.
Okay, that was for Kaikeyi. Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Welcome.
Prabhu, a quick follow-up question, Prabhu.
Yeah.
You said something, if I correctly heard about it, did Lord Ramachandra said to Mother Sita that you can marry Lakshmana, Bharata, etc., etc.?
Yeah.
Can you please elaborate on that context, Prabhu?
It's a long past time. This is after that Agni Pariksha, when after killing Ravana, he asks Vibhishana, please go and call Sita to come here, ask her to take a bath and then come in front of me. And when she comes, he doesn't talk to her. Then she has to go through Agni Pariksha. After that, he tells her, or before the Agni Pariksha, one of them, I can't remember the exact sequence, that you're free to go with Bharata. I've relieved you from Ravana. You're free to go with Bharata. You can marry anyone else. You can marry Lakshmana, whoever you want. And it is heart shattering for her. But I'll say it in one sentence. But if by Ramachandra's case we get that far, we'll relate in the whole detail. This is in one way Ramachandra, when Sita is playing the part of a living entity, that living entity defied the advice of another pure devotee, Lakshmana, that when Ramachandra's voice they heard in the forest, hey Sita, hey Lakshmana, Sita said, go quickly, that is your brother calling for help. Lakshmana said, my brother doesn't need that help. You know better than anyone else that when Khara and Dushana had come, he had killed everyone. So you don't need to go. She tells Lakshmana, oh, maybe you have illicit desire for me and you're waiting for this opportunity. Very, very intensely harsh words. And so now you're happy that that opportunity has come about. So it's interesting because in 14 years that they were there, so 13 years they were in the forest. In 13 years, she never felt Lakshmana ever being illicit, right? And she said, you have been waiting patiently for that opportunity. So it said that technically for that offense, when a living entity doubts the spiritual master or the pure devotee, for that offense, Ramachandra says, oh, since you were saying Lakshmana is what looking, you said Lakshmana was interested in you, right? So you're welcome to go with Lakshmana. You want to be the queen, you can marry Bharata.
That's very strong.
Anyway, very strong. There are a lot of layers for this, so I don't want to leave it as if Sita Devi is some unchaste lady. It's not like that. This is the role where Ramachandra, as the Supreme Lord, is teaching us, the living entities, who doubt the pure devotees, and their motivations. And do and say and do things that are very harmful for ourselves. So it's a lesson.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Mhm. Anyway, don't quote this until you hear the whole pastime in all the layers of it and all the beauty of the conversation, because Sita Devi then responds in a very, very, very sweet and painful way, that Ramachandra accepts her, that there is not even the least tinge of corruption in her heart.
Yes, Prabhu. My eager increased more now. I'll see how it
We're
goes.
still we're in Aranya Kanda, that is near the end of Yuddha Kanda, so we have to wait.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, final question, anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, just a comment on the lighter side. Manthara was in a home quarantine for 14 years. So these 14 years in Kali Yuga become 14 days as a home quarantine.
Okay. She also had the coronavirus. She was the doership mentality, corona. Okay, thank you very much. If there's no other question, we'll go about our business for the rest of the week, hoping that Bharata's words touch our heart, where he tells how he considers Ramachandra's pleasure. Hanya maham imam papam kaikeyim dushtacharinim yadimam dharmiko Rama na asuyena matra ghatakam. And I'll see if I can send you that verse. Okay. Hare Krishna, until we meet again. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.